Tighter here, give that severe thunderstorm warning information on there. That's till 12:45, but the tornado warning will go until 1 o'clock. We will probably be on air a little briefly with this, because we do have the tornado warning now, but once this gets outside of the Channel 2 coverage area, which should happen relatively quickly here, we will get back off the air and send it back to programming. But just for a note, back the air in master control, we were initially planning on doing a quick cut-in, but we may do it a little bit longer now due to the fact that the tornado warning just came out. But here's where the area of rotation is. It is near the Tangipahoa-St. Helena Parish line. These red colors indicate winds moving this way, away from the radar down in Hammond. Blue velocities going this way. We've got rotation tightening up right here and near the St. Helena Tangipahoa Parish line. This is moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. This is a fast moving area of rotation, and if it is dropping a tornado as well, that is also moving at a very quick rate. This is going to move to the I-55 corridor. Baylen is doing a quick storm track on this. Again, Baylen, it's at 50 miles per hour, so if we could redraw that and have it go at 50 miles per hour, that would be great. And we'll get some ETAs for time of arrival for some communities. Kentwood by 12:19 here. That's just a couple minutes away. And if you are watching us through, let's say, a streaming platform, maybe YouTube Live, Facebook Live, note that timestamp. There might be a little 1 to 2 minute streaming delay there. Osika, 12:25. Emerald by 12:34. Dillon in 12:40. By that time, we're likely dealing with a Mississippi problem, but this would get out of Tangipahoa Parish probably, let's say, next 20 to 30 minutes or so within that time window. Nobody needs to be traveling along the I-55 corridor right now. Baylen, are you back in the Weather Center right now? If you could put the conventional display back on, because we can actually see the area of rotation in question. We've been tracking this cell for probably about the last 15 to 20 minutes or so, and Baylen and myself have been saying this thing is going to drop a tornado at some point. Let's pause that loop, and you can see that little hook right there. We call it a hook echo, and that is where rain is wrapping around this area of rotation. And my concern is that a tornado will occur. It may be occurring now, but if not now, very shortly, right along the I-55 corridor. This cell is operating in a very volatile environment, and as it moves into Mississippi, this cell is a candidate to produce a long-track, potentially violent tornado, and it is getting its start here over St. Helena Parish, moving into Tangipahoa Parish right now. Again, really need to urge anybody who lives near the I-55 corridor between Osika and Tangipahoa, you need to be in your tornado shelters right now. We're talking the lowest floor of your home in an interior room with no windows. I know many tornado warnings typically don't produce anything in Louisiana. The reason being that there's often a lot of Gulf moisture that helps to clutter up the view here. But in an environment like this today, it is very favorable for tornadoes to happen. So when we get these tornado warnings, it is really important to heed the safety information, because especially on a day like today, they are more likely to produce. Here's a severe weather safe place. Lowest floor, center of the home, away from windows. The idea is to put as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible. And again, I-55. There are many cars that may be traveling along there. If a tornado is in progress right now, it will cross I-55 very shortly. There's a new radar scan. We are likely going to see, wow, yeah, that would be occurring right now along I-55. That's where the tornado would be, between Kentwood and Tangipahoa. There's I-55, there's a US 51. That is a delayed velocity scan, but if we pull back up the conventional reflectivity, we did get a new scan there, and that's where that hook echo is right now. That's where we see rotation right along the I-55 corridor. Baylen, I'll toss it over to you for just a second.
Yeah, this is really getting a very classic supercell appearance, and exactly what a supercell is really just a rotating thunderstorm, and that is exactly what we are seeing in this area. What we're looking at is this storm really rapidly rotating right around the Kentwood area. A lot of showers and thunderstorms, heavy rain and wind up here. You see the rain actually getting pulled into this area of rotation, and that's how you know it's rotating. It's what we call, this storm is hooking, where it actually physically has a hook on it. It's basically the storm is rotating and bringing all this rain around the rotation, and that's why this storm is extremely dangerous. If you just got a tornado warning, maybe you got it from your NOAA weather radio, your phone started going off like crazy, this is not a storm you want to play around with. This is a very dangerous day. The environmental parameters are really maxed out for our area. That means these storms will be capable of long-track violent tornadoes, not just brief weak spin-ups. We're talking tornadoes of the EF3 plus variety, which could completely level homes. I do not want to see that happen. And this storm is also capable of large hail as well, especially in this core. We're sampling potentially hail over an inch in diameter. It is warned for golf balls. Yeah, so that's definitely the upper end there.
And let me clarify here, because golf ball size hail, it is large. That is large enough to break car windshields.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that myself, and that will physically put dents in your car, break windshields, and not anything you want to drive around in. That is for sure. If you can, Malcolm, check if we got a new velocity or storm motion scan. Wow, look at that. Right on top of Kentwood as we speak. That is a very strong couplet, as we would say. That's where I do not know if that, we're now pulling up debris, and if you...
Yeah, that might be some debris right there.
That might be something right there.
I believe there's
just north of Kentwood. I don't know if it's if you go back to the velocity, we can see if it's co-aligned with that area of rotation. This could be where we're actually not seeing any rain right in the hook.
It is co-aligned. So essentially what we're looking at here with this debris tracker is it's a product that samples the size and the shapes of whatever the radar is scanning, and whenever it senses some dissimilarity, it throws these little bright bullseyes right here.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing just north of Kentwood.
And when that aligns with an area of rotation, that is indicative of tornadic debris, and it's not necessarily the most cohesive signature I've ever seen, but since we do see a decrease in this particular product, a little bright bullseye right there co-located with an area of rotation, that does concern me that we might have some tornadic debris near Kentwood along the I-55 corridor.
Yes, not confirmed yet from the National Weather Service, but this could very well be on the ground or close to on the ground. So if you live, looks like this rotation is now passing just towards the east of Kentwood. It will be right on the tip of this hook on this radar signature here. You got a bunch of heavy rain, wind, hail in this area. Then it's actually wrapping around this area, and right here, just east of Kentwood, that's going to be your area of rotation, and that is the area that we are watching. It is moving off towards the northeast at a very quick pace. These storms are moving at 50 miles per hour. That is not much time to prepare. So that's why if you got that warning, your phone went off, it is time to get in that safe space. You're going to want to get on the lowest floor, most interior room. Wear shoes when you're doing that. Get something to cover your head. And also, most preferred place, if you have it, is a bathroom, because the plumbing in the walls is physically going to keep that room a little bit more sturdy. And just check it. That.
I think there's a real good shot we have a tornado debris signature right there.
That might be a debris signature there, Malcolm. Like you were saying, all this is rain, whereas basically the drops are very correlated. You have a lot of correlation. But when you see this drop here, that is where we could potentially have a tornado.
Yeah, and really the threat right now is beginning to end for Kentwood. But with debris in the air, you never know. This thing could, debris could fall out of the sky. So even though it appears based on the latest radar scans that a tornado has passed through the I-55 corridor, there may be falling debris, and flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. So we are not giving the all clear yet for folks along the I-55 corridor. We want you to remain in your tornado shelters for the time being, as there might be falling debris. That is a concerning signature right there.
And I'm just doing a little bit closer look at this. I'm almost 90+% sure that is a debris signature.
Okay. So for folks in the newsroom who are also listening as well, we might want to call officials in Tangipahoa Parish just to see if they do have reports of any damage. Yeah, northern Tangipahoa Parish, east of the I-55 corridor. If you live there or you know anybody out there, this is a particularly dangerous situation. You need to take shelter now. Again, put as many walls between you and the outside of a sturdy structure as humanly possible. Cars are not safe with this.
National Weather Service just confirmed it's on the ground.
Okay, yep, they're confirming exactly what we saw right here. I assume radar confirmed tornado was in the bulletin text?
That is. Yep.
Again, this tornado warning is going to go until 1 o'clock for, well, I don't believe it includes St. Helena Parish anymore. I'm going to go ahead and give the all clear for St. Helena Parish, but northeastern Tangipahoa Parish, we have problems right now. That is where the threat is, and at some point this is going to cross the state line into Mississippi, maybe Pike County, getting out towards Waltall. If you know anybody in this area, east of excuse me, east of Osika, out towards Tylertown, they are in a dangerous situation right now. The potential is there for long track tornadoes, especially getting into Mississippi and Alabama today. And this may be the first one right here. It got its start right over the capital area. Balin, if we could take off that velocity, or excuse me, the debris tracker scope, and can we do a quick storm track here? And what is the new text saying for the storm motion speed?
They haven't exactly updated yet that, but I checked in the chat room and they said they're upgrading it.
Okay. Well, I meant the storm motion speed.
Yes, that should be at 50 miles per hour.
Okay, let's do that storm track here at 50 miles per hour. May have to broaden out the view there just a little bit more. We'll take this off your screen and.
Yeah, I'm getting that track out now. Just trying to clear out this.
Control Z will do it.
We're about to just overlay this on the other track.
Perfect. All right, so if you know anybody near these communities, this is a very dangerous situation. Gladhurst by 1233, and I believe most of these points are in Mississippi, just outside of the Channel 2 coverage area, which also means we are going to be able to send it back to programming somewhat shortly once the threat has exited the Channel 2 coverage area. This is getting in rural sections of northern Tangipahoa Parish, but we still want to stay on the air simply because we do know that we have a confirmed tornado at this point, or at the very least the storm has had a history of producing damage. And we saw that tornadic debris signature come on our radar imagery as the storm was approaching the I-55 corridor, so getting out towards Kentwood, Tangipahoa. That is likely where some of the debris was being lofted. I believe at this point the storm is pulling away from Kentwood. I'm going to say give it another 5 minutes in Kentwood, wait for any potentially falling debris, and then you can come out of your shelters there. But, you know, south of Kentwood and Tangipahoa, we don't have any problems right now. This is mainly a northern and northeast Tangipahoa Parish issue right now. Balin, was that a new printout?
That is just an update to the tornado watch saying it's a particularly dangerous situation. Okay. I don't know if this includes our viewing area. I think it's a little bit farther towards the northeast.
Okay. If we could, can we broaden out the view just a little bit, clear off that screen, and then let's broaden out the view just a little bit. I want to see what's going on to the southwest because there are other storms in the capital area. This stuff down here over the Atchafalaya Basin looks real junky, for lack of a better word. This doesn't look overly strong to me, but this action right here in northern Tangipahoa Parish, or excuse me, northern Livingston Parish and into St. Helena Parish, we need to watch these closely. As they have shown some signs of subtle rotation in the last hour. We'll keep an eye on this, but it's following in the footsteps of that supercell in northern Tangipahoa Parish right now. Nothing jumps out at me right here. Maybe we need to watch this area in southern Tangipahoa Parish, but definitely nothing that warrants a tornado warning right now. Again, the main threat at this time is in northern Tangipahoa Parish. We cannot emphasize enough the danger of this. That's the area of rotation. This is very strong. Put some arrows on there, Balin. We've got these, essentially this area of rotation right there. The red velocities indicating winds moving away from the radar, the blues indicating winds going towards the radar, and those arrows help you visualize that counterclockwise swirl, and it's tightening up there. That's a strong area of rotation. This has had a history of producing debris, and soon this is going to cross state lines into Mississippi. I think at this point we can go ahead and give the all clear for Kentwood. We've had some time to let any potential falling debris come to the ground. Osika as well, we can give the all clear as well. That's a very strong tornadic debris signature. You're seeing the colors get closer to the whites. If we see these go to the blue, that's even more debris.
Yeah, that's a very strong debris signature. This is constantly picking up more debris, and it's also getting wider, which tells us this tornado might potentially be getting wider as well. Is it gaining in strength? We're seeing a very tight couplet on the radar, and that debris in the air is constantly starting to increase and also increase with height, which tells us this is likely a pretty significant tornado going through the northern portions of Tangipahoa Parish. It is rural, but there is definitely places out here. And if you live right along the state line, in northeastern Tangipahoa Parish, crossing over into southern Mississippi. You are up next. This is as dangerous of a situation you can come across. Not only do you have a tornado warning, but it is now confirmed on the ground, and it is showing no signs of lifting. This is a very impressive debris signature, and actually what we would call a debris ball, where we're physically seeing that debris. Now moving off towards the northeast, right along the state line. Pull up velocity. We'll see if
the no
it's
update
up.
there.
Yeah, not an update just yet. But yeah, it's going to be right at the tip of this hook. This is a very classic supercell, very classic rotating storm. A lot of rain, wind, maybe some hail up here. Physically coming around, the rotation is pulling all this rain around. It's going to be right at the tip of that hook. That's where that tornado is going to be located. And given how powerful of a supercell this is, I have reason to believe this could potentially be a strong tornado as well, given the velocity signature we're seeing and that debris ball as well. So you want to be very careful. It is moving right along the state line now. We can see if we had another velocity update as well. Yeah, still a little bit delayed here. So you really want to take this seriously. If you're living in these northeastern portions of Tangipahoa, or you know someone that is across the state line in southern Mississippi, you want to let them know right now they have a dangerous, large, and confirmed tornado on the ground, which is heading directly towards their location. We're not only worried about this storm, though. We have other storms that are following it, and they're entering the same exact environment that this storm is in. And generally, when storms enter a similar environment, they tend to do similar things. So that's why we're going to be watching this cell right here. It just crossed over into St. James Parish. It is moving off towards the northeast, south of this current storm, and we're really going to have to watch if it does the same thing that this other storm is doing. Even south of that, more messy appearance, though, but these storms started off pretty messy as well, and they started consolidating and gaining in strength. So any of these storms, we're going to have to watch them for strengthening over the next several hours.
Yeah, Balin, I real quick want to zoom back into this cell. I'll step back out there in just a moment here, but I want to pull up the velocity scan. It looks like it's not coming in our system just yet, but I'm looking at it off screen on another computer, and I do believe that the area of rotation has crossed into Mississippi out of the WVRZ coverage area. You mentioned the potential for a long track tornado later on down the line. If anybody is traveling in the direction of I-59 or I-20 in Mississippi and Alabama, the severe weather risk is actually significantly higher even than it is here. So if you have any travel plans out in that direction, you know anybody going there, they need to know what's potentially coming their way as we have strong to severe thunderstorms just continuing to intensify out in that direction. We do have a tornado watch until 6 o'clock for all of the Baton Rouge Metro, not including Assumption in St. Mary parishes. We'll see whether or not we get any expansions of this tornado watch later on down the line, but the highest threat for now is along and north of the interstate, and that's actually where we've only seen tornado warnings today. We are going to keep an eye on things throughout the rest of the afternoon since the threat has now pushed out of the WVRZ coverage area. We're going to gear up to send it back to programming. Rest assured, we're going to keep close eyes on the radar. We will cut right back into programming if any new threats threaten the capital area. For now, we'll send it to regular programming.
We now join our scheduled programming already in progress.
Caleb Sheridan in the San Diego Wave. It's tomorrow, 6:50 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. In-state rivalry out west, those two California teams opening their season. Always a great atmosphere at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles as well. Good one here today for this Kansas City team as they open their 20